Hey, good morning. My name is Lance. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore, and today is the Sunday morning weekend meeting. How's everybody doing today? It's a little bit chilly here right now. It's just a little bit ago, it was 0 degrees out, still below zero, and you know, just a beautiful day. But I had a wonderful day yesterday. My wife and I went up north to where my parents live, and they had a basically a steak feed, steak and all the fixings that you could have with them. Uh, Something they do for the local community and for anybody that supports the local elevator up there. So we got to go up there and hang out with my mom and dad and enjoy a nice T-bone steak or two. So it's always a good thing to go up there and see people I grew up with. So one of the guys I grew up with, I haven't seen him since the year we graduated from high school. I saw him up there for the first time since then, so it's been a long time. Uh, but it's always nice to run into people when you least expect it like that. So how's everybody doing this morning? I know here it's like I said, it's cold. We got a little bit of snow last night. We were only supposed to get a dusting to an inch, and I had to run out this morning to go to the store for my wife. We had probably 4 or 5 inches of snow on the vehicles. So I had to shovel some and clear snow just to get the vehicle out of the driveway. That's always fun. But that's what you get for living up here. It's just a beautiful day. Now, I said we went up north to my mom and dad's yesterday. Uh, they live in a valley along a river in a wooded area, and this is going on the road to their house. We had freezing fog yesterday. But actually, the last 2 days we've had freezing fog, so it's just absolutely amazing when it looks like that. That is one of the prettiest things that you can see right there. We drove it for no, it's just over an hour that we ended up driving. The roads were a little icy, but that's part of what we got to see when we were driving is stuff like this. So just a beautiful drive going up there. So how is or actually what are you guys' plans today? Is today is an even day, so today would be a fasting day if you're doing the alternate day fasting with the Carnivore Quest group. Otherwise, what else are you doing today for eating? Are you planning on eating today? Are you planning on fasting? What foods are you planning to eat if you are going to eat? Um, and I'm actually not going to be fasting today. Uh, my wife has been trying to make a meatloaf for the last, I don't know, couple weeks. And every time she gets ready to make it, it turns out to be a fasting day. She took everything out last night, and everything's ready to go for her to make the meatloaf today. So I'm not going to fast today. I'm going to enjoy my wife's meatloaf. It just, it's funny it ends up like this, just how often that happens. Oh, and I tell you that instant coffee doesn't get any better. Even if you put the heavy cream in it, it still has that bitter taste to it. It just doesn't go away. Oh, and well, yesterday after we got back from being up at my parents, we went ice skating at the local rink here, and my one granddaughter is actually getting really good at ice skating. She's learned to go get off the wall, get off the use of the skate helpers, and yesterday she was practicing skating backwards. So she's actually having a lot of fun doing that. She came with us yesterday when we went up to my parents, and one of the things that she got for Christmas were it's for doing fingernails, but they're pens. They're not, it's fingernail art stuff that she got. So she was doing great grandma's fingernails yesterday, and great grandma was doing her fingernails. They have a good time. They're both two stubborn redheads that enjoy each other immensely, which is just absolutely amazing. But what a day it is. Just waking up this morning and having all this snow on the ground, being cold out. That's actually what I enjoy. When we get done with this live stream, I got to go out and fire up the snow blower and move some snow around, because we got enough that it's not just a shovel day. It's actually going to be a snow blower moving snow out there. And it's kind of stuff I love. There's something different about this time of year when you get the snow, the cold. It's not Christmas time. It's not a New Year unless you have this bitter cold and plenty of snow on the ground to make it stay. It's what I enjoy. I'm also looking at the heck is this? One of these. I've learned here doing these live streams that it's best to restart my computer before I do the live. I've had some pretty bad lagging, and mostly it's because there's so much just running in the background on the computer. So I ended up having to get rid of that. I don't know why this keeps popping up on me. So what else is going on? Is anybody have anything going on out there, and you want to drop a comment and we can discuss and talk about anything that you guys are wanting to talk about? One of the groups that I do go into often is the Carnivore Quest. So awesome. 6 p.m. tonight. Special. I take part in the Carnivore Quest live group, and Larry didn't do a live yesterday, so that was a little bit different. He's actually got it up today that they're going to be doing a live today at 6 p.m. Central Time, which would make it what time? 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. Everybody just skips Mountain Time. I don't know why. I used to work out in that time zone, and they never mentions Mountain Time out when you go out in that area. It's just weird. But that's Carnivore Quest. It's where I'm going to be at here in just a little bit. Well, tonight at 6 o'clock, I'll be in there live. Somebody's special guest. I guess it's what it says. Yeah. That's awesome. Larry has been under the weather the last few days, so he hasn't been doing his live streams. But tonight he's got a special guest. And I guess we're going to have to tune in that to see who he's got tonight. But it's all good. So, does anybody have anything they want to discuss? Just drop a comment, whether you're on X or YouTube or, what's the other one? Rumble. You can just drop any comments you want in there and we can discuss whatever you want. That's part of what this is for, is just to weekend accountability for people who are having issues with the diet or just need that extra support. Oh, that coffee is just, it's rough. And my wife was planning on doing ice skating again today with some of our grandkids. We got a local spot that rents skates, and it's outdoors, and they were wanting to go out there and skate. I don't know if she's still going to want to because it's pretty dang cold out. It doesn't bother me any, but it does bother my wife. Well, good morning, Arden. How are you today? Are you on a ketogenic or carnivore diet, or just surfing live streams this morning? And where are you watching from? So it's starting to, I don't know, looks like it's starting to snow a little bit again outside. I keep looking out here because if I don't have that window open, it just seems too dark in the room here. And I don't want that to be too dark in here. I know I got the sign behind me, but that lights up behind me, not in front. Otherwise, I'm in a dark spot right here. But what's your guys' plans for eating today? Is anybody not planning to stay in their specific diet, or is anybody not even doing one? Anybody in here just planning on starting one soon and looking for advice, tips, or anything like that? There's a lot of groups on here that help people to get into this type of diet and be able to stick to it. That's one of the things that this meeting is for, is just to have community with people. I started doing these about a month ago, or maybe a month and a half ago, just to keep people or help people to be able to have community on the weekends, because I noticed that there's hardly anybody who was doing them then. Just be less fat. You just broke your 89-hour fast. That is amazing. How did you break your fast? Did you break that with bone broth, or how did you actually break the fast? Heather Blackman, watching from Mountain Time Zone. Question: do you ever have late night cravings? I've been carnivore for 2 years and trying not to eat after 6 p.m., but I find I get food noise sometimes at night. I haven't really had that much food noise. My wife does. And when she does get that, she eats butter. She likes the Costco Kirkland butter or the Kerrygold Irish butter. But basically what it is she needs more fat when she gets those cravings. And that was actually something I learned, I think, from Steak and Butter Gal, from Bella, that was talking about that. And so I told my wife that, and now when she gets those cravings at night, that's what she does. She just goes and she'll eat some butter. Scrambled eggs, breakfast sausage with green chili, 6 pieces of bacon, and some salsa. Coffee with some cream. Wow, that's how you broke your 96 or 89-hour fast? That's a lot of food for breaking a fast. Do you ever have issues when you break fast that long, eating that much? I know when I've done longer fasts over like 72 hours, I've got to take it really slow when I refeed. Otherwise, I get into trouble. And that's never a good thing. That's why just about all my fasts I've ever done, I've always been broken on a weekend, so I don't have issues and don't have to worry about it at work. But that's quite a bit of food for coming up of a fast. Yeah, when you were doing your fast, did you also drink coffee with cream during the fast? So I wonder if you do that, I wonder if that actually helps with the refeed when you go to uh, have food again, because a lot of people have issues when they refeed and with disaster pants. Oh, you take a couple of digestive enzymes. That's awesome. And no cream during your fast. I know some people will take cream and stuff. I've just did this year the last 2 days with that instant coffee where I've put the heavy cream in it. It just doesn't work. I don't understand how people can actually drink this. It's so bitter unless they have that much cream in it where it's just mostly cream. But I can't. I got just a little bit left of this stuff and I'll be done. I'll probably have to use another whole pint of heavy cream just to finish off the last of what I have for that instant coffee, because it is very rough. Yeah. Instant coffee is blasphemy. I can't argue with that, and I think it is too. I was just trying to find a different coffee to try something different. I've had tinnitus bad in my ears, and one of the things that helped at one point, and I didn't realize it, was the carnivore diet when I gave up coffee and alcohol at the same time. I started I started drinking coffee again. It was about 9 months after I'd stopped, and probably about a month later, I noticed that the ringing in my ears was back. I didn't associate that with the coffee, but that was basically the only thing that changed. That was the only thing I added back into my diet at the time. And then I was talking with somebody, and that's something they mentioned, was that the coffee will cause the ringing in your ears. So I figured, well, let me try it again. I stopped drinking coffee 6 or 7 weeks. I can't remember how long. And it's about 95% better. It didn't go completely away. And I like coffee. So the one guy that went through the same thing and got rid of his tinnitus drinks instant coffee. Larry drinks instant coffee. He puts that heavy cream in there. I was like, well, I can give it a shot. So I bought a small container of it. It's the last time I'll do it. I won't buy any more of it, that's for sure. But I don't have issues with like the Dunn Brothers Western Highlands Papua New Guinea coffee. That was some really good coffee. I enjoy the Dunn Brothers coffee. Let's see. This is 12th fast of at least 72 hours, and I haven't had any issues. Any in diet volume, really. Yeah, it could be the digestive enzymes. Maybe I should try some of those when I'm fasting. I know if I have any, I generally have 2 eggs cooked in butter and 4 pieces of bacon. And then I got to wait for an hour to 2 hours after that before I eat anything else. And otherwise, I'll spend the rest of the afternoon in the bathroom. For me, it's just not a good thing to happen. So I have to refeed slowly. Well, good morning, Jeff. How are you today? Where are you watching from, Jeff? And are you also doing a ketogenic or carnivore diet? But I know I do have to do a longer fast here. I really haven't done a long fast this month in December. Did the alternate day fasting and then a sardine fast. And then this last couple of days I haven't fasted. So on even days. And it won't happen again today because my wife is making meatloaf that she's been trying to make for the last couple of weeks. But she always ends up trying to make it on an even day, which is a fasting day. she's got it all set and ready to go for today again. So we're just going to have it. Good morning, Cosmic Jester. How are you doing today? You never have any problems with good amount volume after 4 or 5 day fast? Really? Wow. You guys are blessed if you don't have issues with it. When the fast gets a little bit longer, you have to ease into it a little bit more. Okay. You definitely encourage, I got to click on it, right? You definitely encourage people. There is no one size fits all approach. That is true. One size fits one, and everyone should be their own food scientist. That's actually very good advice. Everybody has to learn what works best for them. And people like you sharing your experience and what you're doing and stuff helps people to learn. And I appreciate that. I've learned so much from the fasting community, the carnivore community, just by watching people in the comments and listening to what people talk about and how everything goes with them. That's one of the things I like about these lives like this is people that get into the stream and they'll chat and they'll put stuff out and people give a lot of good information. That's one of the reasons why I stick with the Dr. Kiltz live streams and Carnivore Quest live streams is because there are so many people in there that are so knowledgeable and everybody shares their information freely. And if you can learn from what other people are doing, it's amazing. Back via Ohio till Tuesday, then back to the RV in Keystone Heights, Florida. Haha. So you're out traveling, going from Ohio down to Florida. Think you're from Florida or are you from Ohio or just visiting? That's one of the states that I don't think I've been into Ohio. There's only a few states I haven't been into, and that. Yeah, Ohio is not one of the states I've actually been into. There's not that many I haven't. I've done a lot of traveling around years ago. I just never made it through Ohio. So that's great that you can get out of the cold from. Even Ohio it's not always nice up there. And then get down into Florida where it's much better weather. Yeah, I can't talk today. I got snow on my mind because it's starting to snow again. It's what we get here. I think it's just a passing little flurry. I got the weather up here right now, and the radar shows snow from well past Minneapolis into Wisconsin, the southern tip of it'd be southeastern tip of Minnesota, all the way up through where I live right now. It's got snow bands and snow coming. So it's just a lot of snow, and it's going to be a lot of fun moving it. Let's see, Jeff. If you fast 72 hours, you usually have an issue after my first meal. Yeah. Okay. I generally don't unless I try to eat too much right away. That's why when I break my fast, I have something small, and then I got to wait for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and then it seems like my gallbladder doesn't overproduce and send me running to the bathrooms. Yeah. It's looking like up to 10 inches here. Ooh. Yeah, there's some places if I look at the radar, like Minneapolis right now, they're in a heavy band of snow. From just south of Lakeville to Elk River area, or just north of Lakeville. I used to live in the Twin Cities, so I know a little bit about that area. Lived there for 9 years. But yeah, it's got some nice bands of snow coming in here. It's actually pretty good size because you got, where is this? Just south of Denver, and it loops up into Minneapolis and back into North Dakota and up into Saskatchewan and Manitoba. It's a nice, beautiful band. Oh, you and your wife are snowbirds. Go from Ohio to Florida for the wintertime. Leaving kind of late, aren't you? Where? Yeah, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. See, now I've been to Indiana, I've been to Kentucky and South Carolina, North Carolina. I've been in Pennsylvania. Ohio. I just haven't been in Ohio. I've been in Michigan and Wisconsin, New York. I mean, I've been all over. It's just right there in Ohio. I have not been there. I haven't been in Arkansas either, which is, I don't know why. Just missed that. Oh, Paul. You can confirm that carnivore works. I've been carnivore now for over 2 years, lost 50 pounds 6 months after starting, got off all meds, normal blood pressure without meds. That is so nice to hear. And you probably came off the meds before you even really had any significant weight loss. Or not, I did. I came off of my blood pressure medications in the first 6 weeks that I was on carnivore. So I absolutely agree that carnivore works. It's one of the best things that you can do for your body. And having normal blood pressure after being on blood pressure medications is amazing, especially if you don't have to take anything to get there. Congratulations, Paul. That's amazing. And plus losing 50 pounds, you got to feel a lot lighter in your feet after that. You guys went down to Florida on November 1st and came back for Christmas. Yeah. I don't think my wife would ever let us move out of here with our grandkids being here. They would have to move with us. But she doesn't like the snow and the cold either. But she won't leave the grandkids to go somewhere like that. And plus, I'm not ready to retire yet. And I don't know if I could ever move down south. I probably could. But I'd miss this. I'd miss the snow. I'd miss the shoveling, freezing, all the fun stuff. I'd miss seeing days like this out there where it's just gorgeous because of the frost on the trees and stuff. It's amazing. So now, I know there's a couple people in here that I've talked to with before. I myself, for Paul, I have lost 122 pounds so far on the carnivore diet. I started the diet August of 2024, and I was 335 pounds, and I've gotten down to 213 pounds now. I've had really good success on this. 6 weeks after starting, I came off of 5 blood pressure medications. So I strongly encourage anybody to do this type of diet, especially if they are on blood pressure medications. They don't tell you how important a diet is, and the diet that the doctors are going to tell you to do is completely wrong for everything they do. To become a doctor, I think it's less than 20 hours of nutritional education that they get. Everything that they're taught is how to prescribe medications. They don't teach how to get people off of medications, which they should. It's not my idea that I want to be on a medication. I want to be off of them. I don't want to have to take a medicine. There's nothing worse than having to be on a medication. It's just, I don't like it. But there are so many things that are directly related to what we eat. Diabetes is one of them. Blood pressure is another. There are so many conditions out there that are directly related to the way we eat and what we've been told to eat, and it's just not right. Well, good morning, Bryce Biscuit. How are you today? You see, Larry's got a live stream coming up at tonight with a special guest. I just saw that a little bit ago here. So he's not doing his morning meeting today. He's going to be doing a live stream tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Yeah. Well, he's going to be doing a live stream tonight. It's just not when we're expecting it. So I just saw it here just a little bit ago when I was starting my stream, because I looked at it before I started because I was just curious if he had put anything out yet, and there still wasn't anything there. And right after I started streaming, I went back to it, and that's where it's got the morning meeting Sunday special guest, and that's at 6 p.m. I know I really missed Larry's meetings. It's just, he's got that energy, and that laugh of his is just contagious. So just one of those things that you miss when you're used to hearing it. I've been attending those live streams that he's been doing since July, so 5 months. You get used to them. So how's your day going so far, Bryce Biscuit? You guys still getting snow, or? I know we got 4 or 5 inches of snow here today. Last night we were supposed to get just a trace to an inch, and there was a bunch of snow on the cars this morning. I had to go out and load off my wife's vehicle this morning and take that to the store to get her some stuff. You heard me talk about blood pressure type 2. You just want to add, for anyone new in the chat, under 1 year of carnivore, you reversed your type 2 and went off all your blood pressure medications. And that's what this is. It's what this meeting helps with, so that people can hear that from other people, that it is possible to do that. My wife has reversed her type 2 diabetes, as well as Bryce Biscuit. I came off of 5 blood pressure medications. And for me, it was about 6 weeks. For my wife, her reversed her type 2 diabetes. It probably took a couple of months for her to get everything settled out. She'd been type 2 diabetic diagnosed for over 20 years. So it's actually really amazing that it works like that. And for me coming off my medications, my wife coming off hers, Bryce Biscuit coming off of his medications, it's absolutely amazing. And it's a testimony to what this can do for you. You know, Paul came off of his blood pressure medications, lost 50 pounds. So it's actually really cool. You got 6 inches on Friday. Yeah. I keep seeing snow alerts on my phone, but I think it's just dustings at this time. Yeah, that's what ours was supposed to be last night. It was just a dusting. Dusting to maybe an inch, they said, and then it's enough snow out there now that I'm going to have to move my cars out of the driveway and bust my snowblower out. Blow some snow around, because it's not just a little bit to use a shovel with. And I actually got too much out there to do that right now. And we have 3 dogs, and our sliding glass door that goes into the backyard. We have a fenced-in backyard, and I've got a sliding glass dog door. It's one that goes into the door, and the dogs can come and go as they want. The closure is magnetic, so when they go through it, it stops and it just stays there. It blocks the wind 99% of the time, unless it's really windy out. But we generally have a heater, a little space heater that's pointed in that direction. So if it starts to get cold, it'll kick that on. My wife gave that heater to our grandson, and now we don't have it. So now it's getting cold. Our heater keeps kicking on. Ooh. I gotta give up that coffee. That's not even right there. It's just not right. Also, for anyone suffering from mental health, 3 years keto carnivore helped me to heal and go off of 7 meds for mental health alone. That's an amazing testimony right there, Bryce Biscuit. Coming off those medications, those are some of the harder ones to come off of, are the ones for mental health issues. Wow, my mouse doesn't want to work like it should. Jeff, been keto for over 3 years, still on BP medications. Well, there are some hypertensions out there that aren't dealt with your diet. That's something I have learned, that some hypertension issues that people have don't have anything to do with the diet. It's just something that goes on within their bodies. But the vast majority of it is related to your diet. If you want to find out if it's on your diet, Jeff, do an elimination diet for just 30 days, and you'll be able to tell fairly quickly if it is or not. And by elimination diet, it's basically do a Lions diet for 30 days. If you can do that for 30 days, you will find out whether or not your blood pressure is a result of your food or if it's something else. If it's food, easy solve. If not, then that's where you're still keeping, having doctors available to deal with stuff like that is needed. Many have blood pressure struggles when metabolically healthy or healed. You went off of all BP, but still borderline high. See, my blood pressure has actually been good since right after I started doing this. When I came off of the last of my blood pressure meds, it was probably within a week that my blood pressure stabilized in the normal range, under 120 and under 80. Probably about 117 over 75, 76. And then it's been like that for a long time. Yeah, didn't need to lose weight. You started to improve your health. And that's, for me, I actually started watching TikTok videos of Carnivore Ray and talking about him healing on the carnivore diet and the benefit that he's had and all that. That got me going down a rabbit hole on YouTube and watching Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Hampton, Dr. Kiltz, a bunch of doctors. I have watched so much for about 2.5 months before I actually started doing the diet. And I started carnivore for healing, to get off my blood pressure medications. And that actually happened pretty quick. And along with that, I started to lose weight. I went from 335 pounds to 224 pounds in less than 8 months. I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight quick. Kind of scary to lose that much that fast. I stopped my weight loss because of that. And I used heavy cream, dairy products to stop my weight loss. And now I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to lose it slowly. So the first time I ever lost a bunch of weight, I ended up having heart surgery right after that. I see, same as long at 12 years. Yeah. Brian's Biscuit, your weight, which was morbid obese, is a big issue. Became least important thing to heal. The 7 diseases, in addition to the weight, were profoundly more transformative. Yeah, and for me, the weight wasn't the big issue. Well, it was to a point, but every medication I was taking for my blood pressure had a side effect of weight gain. And it seemed like that's what I did. As soon as I started taking that medication, I just got more and more weight, and I couldn't get rid of it. So trying to eat carnivore was to get off my blood pressure medication. And once I was off of the blood pressure medication, the weight just dropped. It was so nice. Try pure carnivore, Jeff. My wife does ketovore. When I was carnivore, she reduced her BP meds, but still needs 1 pill every now and then. And that's, my wife won't say that she's carnivore. She prefers to say ketovore because she does like some of her vegetables that she likes. But she still takes a blood pressure medication, and she's been taking that for 20 some years. It's the lowest dose that they have for that medicine, but she's all right with it. Actually, my measurement at home shows normal. It's always higher at clinician, and I believe due to my white coat syndrome. Doc isn't concerned though. Yeah, it's white coat syndrome is actually a really awful thing to have. I never dealt with it. But I do. I wear a white coat at work at times, so it's just different. Jeff says that he's lost about 20 pounds. That's amazing. 20 pounds isn't anything to sneeze at. That's a considerable amount of weight to be losing. Jester, carnivore definitely helps by lowering the inflammation in your brain and allows you to think clear and helps you get out of ruts like addictions much easier. It made it much easier to quit smoking and drinking after 30 plus years. Absolutely. I guess I never thought about that way, inflammation in your brain, which allows you to think clear. So yeah, it helps you get rid of that brain fog that people talk about. I also got rid of some of my addictions. I used to chew Copenhagen. I chewed that for 40 some years and just gave it up last March. Haven't had any issues with it. Haven't had any, desire to have it back or anything like that. So it's something that I had trouble with, and I tried stopping before, and I haven't had any issues with it right now. Bryce visit, you came to keto carnivore for weight loss, and after 5 decades of yo-yo dieting, the additional healing you receive quickly made me understand the benefit of this lifestyle. Weight loss is just the icing. Absolutely. Weight loss is one of the best benefits or side effects of this diet is the weight loss. To me, it's a side effect, and it's something that's well worth it. Jeff, you have the white coat syndrome also. That's 4 bags of potatoes, Jeff. Yep. 4 5-pound bags of potatoes. Or who is it? The carry man that talks about bowling balls? That's 2 10-pound bowling balls that you've lost. You can think of that there, throwing it down the lane. That's pretty good. Bryce biscuit, my doctor turns off light and lets me do box breathing first. I've lowered it 10 points and measurements this way. Yeah, there are ways to overcome the psychological white coat syndrome, and breathing techniques are one of them. There's a way that they're supposed to do your blood pressure when you go into a clinic, but because of the greed that is going on with most medical, they don't have the time to do it properly, because you're not supposed to take your blood pressure within like 10 minutes of walking or whatever. You're supposed to sit relaxed and not talk, not answer questions, just relax before you take it. And when was the last time that you had somebody spend 10 minutes of time not doing anything when you first get into a doctor's office? It doesn't happen. It just doesn't work. Yeah, weight loss is an amazing side effect, but sadly many externally see and understand there is so much more. Absolutely. There is so much more to what you get from this carnivore way of eating, or a ketogenic way of eating, being in ketosis, whether you're cheetovore. I like that one. That's kind of cool. But if you listen to Dr. Kiltz, it's not a cheat, it's treat. So maybe treatovore. Dr. Kiltz will talk about having, Kiltz's ice cream or the occasional French fry fried in tallow. But he does eat some plants every now and then, not many, a couple times a year. And he calls them treats, not cheats. And if you stay strict carnivore 99% of the time and you have a treat like over the holidays, it's not going to really be that bad, as long as you don't trigger yourself. And if you can have a treat and not get triggered, then maybe it's worth it for some people. I know this last week I've had several cookies that were homemade, not store-bought, but they were made by my mom. And she's in her 80s. She's been baking stuff for 7 decades. So having her homemade stuff is actually really nice. But did it trigger me to eat more stuff? No, it didn't. I had a couple cookies on one day, a couple cookies another day. She made so many different things, and I tried some of them just because it made her feel better. And it wasn't affecting me. She did she told my wife and I that these should be good for us, because she only put in half the sugar that she's supposed to. She doesn't understand that everything that's carbohydrate turns into sugar. So, but she was trying. Mental health was the hardest struggle, and how, in fact, I became disabled. Yep. The healing was simply the greatest comeback for me. The focus on weight is sadly misdirected and misunderstood by many. Hopefully those that wade into the space experience healing. Healing is, for each person, they have to have their own sense of healing. If they're coming in here just to do the weight loss, it's not going to stay. They're probably not going to keep with it. For people like you and me, Bryce Biscuit, that had healing to do and came to this to heal first, I think we're probably the ones that are going to stay on this here more, because I know what it's like to be sick and have to take medications, and I hate medications. I hate seeing doctors. I don't want to see a doctor. I don't want a doctor knowing who I am. I just don't. JG, how are you today? It's nice to see you this morning. How's your day going, and what are you planning on eating today? Bryce Biscuit, talking to Jester. Just caught that. Congratulations. Jeff, my wife doesn't eat this way, so it can be a little more of a struggle. It can. I got really lucky when I started doing this diet. My wife supported me. She told me that she'll do whatever as long as she doesn't. I don't try to push it on her to make her do it. And I said, that's fine, but this is what I'm going to do. And I kind of explained to her why, what I was trying to heal and stuff. And she's like, okay. And it was at the same time that she was put on a CGM. She got her first continuous glucose monitor so she could watch her blood sugars without having to prick her fingers. So she got to see where her blood sugars were in real time and what foods triggered a spike in her blood sugars. For the first week that she wore a CGM, she couldn't get a reading because her blood sugars were too high. The CGM that she was using was the Freestyle Libre 3, and readings over 400 don't register. It just says high, and that's where she was for the first week. So after that, when her blood sugar started coming down, and she could see when she ate a sandwich or she drank something that had a lot of sugar, and she could see it spike up and set the alarm off. It made a huge difference for her. She gravitated to this type of diet simply because of the way her blood sugars were, and she could watch it real time. I didn't pressure her to do it. I did tell her that she needs to eat more fat, as that will help the insulin. And she does. She actually likes the fat. My cold treat is to mix a little bit of coffee and some heavy whipping cream, and then beat that into whipping cream and throw in the freezer for an hour or two. That's actually not a bad idea, Jester. It's like a mocha, frozen mocha. That'd be pretty good. I wouldn't do it with this instant coffee. That's nasty. But maybe I should do that with the Dunn Brothers that I do have. That'd be good. I wouldn't have been open-minded to this healing when I came here 3 years ago. I always considered myself a smart person. Healing is believing, though. That's when I first saw this rise beast, I couldn't believe what I was hearing from Carnivore Ray. I was like, no way, just eating meat has allowed that to happen. I watched a bunch of his videos on his TikTok. Then I went to YouTube. I watched more of his videos on YouTube. And then I started searching on YouTube for the carnivore diet. And the first thing I found was Dr. Berry. And if you go on Dr. Berry's site on a computer and search on his YouTube channel, anything, any disease, he's got videos for it. And just the amount of information that he puts out in his videos and stuff is absolutely amazing. I also found Dr. Chafee. I love Dr. Chafee's information. Dr. Hampton, Tony Hampton's an obesity doctor out of Chicago. He has really put out a lot of videos here in the last year or so. It's like at least one a day. Dave Mack, not a doctor, but over 1,500 interviews that he's done of people like me sharing their stories. I've been on Dave Mack twice. About 9 months apart. I did it in December of 2024, and then I did again this last summer. Shortly after his 1,000th video, I went back on his channel and talked with him more about my healing. And finding people like Homestead Howe and Carrie Mann and the stuff that he's doing. And not so much the healing humanity aspect of it, but the videos that Carrie was putting out, a year and a half ago, where he was talking about his healing. where he's reversed his heart disease and he's reversed his, I can't remember, but his ejection fraction has went from very poor to normal within a year. So he no longer has heart issues, according to his cardiologist. It's stuff like that that has helped me so much to learn and to be able to do this stuff. Being in these live streams, talking with just the average everyday person has been a benefit to me too. You have 3 daughters here that I care for. They eat sad and even bake here. My slip-ups taught me the discipline required to maintain healing. Yeah. I'm a hardcore carb addict too, but I protect my healing now at all costs. That meant me moving to carnivore from keto. I get triggered much less now. You were dismissive, yeah, 100%. Probably smugly too. You get the pushback, yeah, absolutely. But once you start healing and you see what it does for your own body, it is absolutely amazing. You see my comments in other live streams and you feel like you know me a little bit. That's one of the things I like about these in here, Jeff, is whether you're talking to me or talking to Bride's Biscuit or Jester or Jeff, you see people comment in these live streams and you comment back to them and you get to know people and they start to feel like family. And it's one of the things that I really enjoy about being in the live streams and actually doing it myself now. Before I started doing carnivore, I would never sit in front of a camera, talk to people on YouTube. I would have never done something like this here. It's just way outside of my comfort zone. But sharing this here for other people to hear and see coming from just regular people, yeah, it's anecdotal, but how many people do you have to see heal before you realize that, yeah, this is actually something real? Brisbane says that sounds awesome. Jester, you occasionally put butter and MCT oil in coffee, hit it with a frother, half and half is a staple. I can't afford clean cream. It does sound pretty good. It's a nice frozen treat. And Bride's Biscuit, yes. There's a lot of people. I see Bride's Biscuit in a lot of the streams that I go into. There's a lot of other people that I see in a lot of the streams. So a lot of good people out there. It's such a warm, welcoming space. You love a carnivore community, and it is so nice. And when you see thousands of A1Cs come down, it's not a coincidence. Oh, absolutely. It's one of the best things about this way of eating is you get to see so many people who have healed themselves from so many different issues. You see people who have had strokes, like old guy Carnivore Mitch. His recovery from his stroke has been amazing because of the way he eats. And there's no other way to put it that it's his way of eating that has helped him so much right now. It's actually really cool. And Dave Mack, he had a stroke when he was in his teens, and how much that has helped him through his 2 years or just over 2 years of being a carnivore. He's had some tremendous healing just from that. Brisby says, nice to meet you, Jeff. Just stumbled. IH just stumbled on your stream. I'm researching carnivore to try it. Healing is the number one for me. You want to get away from meds. My doctor shoves at me, but weight loss would be nice too. Well, you're in the right spot. I can tell you personally, for myself, I started carnivore for healing my blood pressure. I was on 5 blood pressure medications, and my blood pressure wasn't being controlled. And through research, watching Dr. Barry, Chafee, Hampton, Kiltz, so many, I call them the good doctors, and a lot of people call them the good doctors. And then watching regular people like myself, Carnivore Quest with Larry and Cassie, Healing Humanity, or Homestead How with Kerry Mann in his earlier videos. It's just, there's so many people out there. Steak and Butter Gal, Bella, she has some really good stuff. Judy Cho, Nutrition with Judy, she's a holistic nutritionist. She has great advice. There's just so many people out there that are giving out information, personal experiences. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving out health advice. I'm just sharing what's happened to me. But 6 weeks in, I came off all 5 of my blood pressure medications. I started out at 335 pounds. A week ago, I was down to 213. I've got another 13 or so pounds to lose officially before I'm at a normal weight again. And I've been doing this for 16 months now. But most of my healing happened within the first 6 months, first 8 months. And it's just amazing. See, I get sad when I hear others speak outside the community. Their stress is palatable, yep. Sadly, management is missed by them. And it is. It's hard to, you can't smack somebody upside the head and make them listen to you. Although sometimes you want to. It's going to be hard. Your husband isn't game for it. Well, when he sees your healing, it will help. I don't know. There are so many people that have a hard time doing this here because of their spouse. I got really lucky. My wife was extremely helpful. I didn't have any issues with her. But one of the big things is making sure that when you do eat, you eat enough fat. You can transition slower, or you can do like I did and just jump in cold turkey. I went from eating a standard American diet on Wednesday to noon on Thursday. I decided that's when I'm doing it, and that's where I started. And I switched my diet completely at that point. And I didn't have any issues. Other people do have issues. They can't really manage it like that. But just do what you have to do for yourself and eat plenty of fat. It's one of the hardest things that people have to do is knowing how much fat to eat. You're going to go through keto flu. It's actually, they call it a keto flu. What it is, it's carbohydrate withdrawals. It's the same as alcohol withdrawals or opiate withdrawals. And it's very powerful. And a lot of people have big issues with it. But the keto flu or carbohydrate withdrawals, once you get past that, that's you feel it really quick once that's over. The healing that your body goes through. And it doesn't take long. I was on a live stream last night listening to Kerry Mann and Peter Papa Carnivore. And they both have just recently went over 1,000 days on carnivore diet, and they had a big live stream for it. And Kerry was talking about it at one point in there about the 3-week mark and how many people have noticed that their healing started at the 3-week mark, which is for a lot of people when the keto flu is over with. So you make up your mind, do a 30-day elimination diet. And that's what I did. I did my 30 days of carnivore, and I've stuck with it now for 493 days now. Bridesmaid says all of this is possible and enjoyed by many. The path often varies at least some degree, but you have faith you can manage it like many in this community. Absolutely. great words of encouragement. My brother had a mini stroke and an A1C over 13. He went carnivore and off all his meds and has healed himself, so I figured I would try to. Absolutely. Coming on, getting your A1C back down to normal. What a lot of people don't check, and what is actually more important than the A1C, is your fasting insulin. Doctors don't want to check it because they can diagnose and they can reverse stuff years before it ever happens. The average person that's a diabetic had a elevated fasting insulin 10 to 20 years before they were diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. And it could have been reversed. It could have been helped a lot faster by switching their diet and going away from the carbohydrates. But there's no profit for doctors in that. Jester, his recovery would be better if he stopped smoking cigars, which I didn't know if he has done yet. Who's smoking cigars? What did I miss on that one? Incremental change was key for my sustainability. One addiction at a time, I would say yes. Some people have to take it slower. Some people can jump in and do it. Each person has to find their own way to get in there and their own path to go through this. You're hoping that the carb issue won't be so bad because I have already been doing low carb for my blood sugars. That's really good. And do you track with a CGM? Or do you use a finger prick or a keto mojo or anything like that so that you can better understand where your blood sugars are and what causes them to go up? Jeff says, I don't know if I am still insulin resistant or not. I have never asked for a fasting insulin test. Neither have I. But from what I've learned from the doctors, the amount of visceral fat that I had, I was extremely insulin resistant. My insulin was probably really sky high. Even though my A1C was 5.2, I can guarantee you that my fasting insulin was extremely high. The reference range that they use for your insulin, the high, as long as it's below 25, they'll tell you that you're all right, that you don't have insulin problems. But if you listen to the good doctors, anything over a 10 is troublesome. And I believe some of them want them as low as 8 or even 6 for that. But if you're in double digits in your fasting insulin, that's not good. That's what I was planning, committing to 30 days to begin and then looking at it again. I feel like short-term goals help me rather than saying, okay, this is what I'm doing forever. You are 100% correct. And doctors don't help you make beneficial changes. They just want to shove more meds and other doctors at you. You don't want to live life one appointment at a time. It's a sad state of our healthcare because it's not healthcare, it's sick care. They're just trying to get people to help make them a profit. And I don't want to be like that anymore. And that's one of the things I did. Doing the diet for 30 days as an elimination diet. One of the things that I would suggest to do if you haven't done this already, a lot of people will do the scale as a starting weight, which I did. What I didn't do is I didn't take pictures. When I did Insanity years ago, I took pictures, I took measurements and the scale. I mean, I measured my neck, my arms, my legs, my waist, my hips, my chest. I had measurements for everything. So even when I wasn't losing weight, I could see where my inches were moving and things were changing. I would do the same thing for the carnivore diet. Take measurements. So you're going to lose weight, but it might not be what you're thinking, but you may lose inches around your body and you don't notice it right away. Take weekly pictures so that you can see for yourself how you're changing, because it's amazing what happens when you change. I don't have a lot of pictures of me when I was transitioning or transforming my own body. I didn't have a lot of pictures when I was doing that. But I do have some here. I know I got them up here. I can pull them up quick. I still think that one's funny. Here we go. There, how's that? That's me, 2023, 2022. Well, I'm on the scooter there. That's at our state fair because I couldn't walk. My feet hurt too much for me to walk. It was nasty. And I was probably close to 350 in those pictures. Big difference in how I feel. Now, that said, use cold turkey strategies coming in to a low carb. For me, it would not have been possible. Yeah. I know insulin resistance will take time over many other healing markers. You trust the process with the healing that's been snowballing. You're talking about old guy Mitch smoking? Oh, that's right. See, I still don't catch on with old guy carnivore with Mitch. He does do that. Yeah. You have a CGM, but verify with a finger stick because the CGM isn't always accurate. That is so true. We found that out with my wife's, where some of them would read really high and some of them would read really low. So we always had to check. She checked hers probably once every week or so just to make sure. When she put a new one on, she would check it. That's smart to make short-term goals. And this is a great strategy to process and modify when the desire is there. It is. Short-term goals are easier for people to hit. Yeah, there's no money in well, people. We don't have health care, we have sick care. Yeah, and Mitch is 79. He can pick and choose his battles. Yeah. He's been doing it for a while. Being a former smoker, though, you know how adversely it affects your health. You brought it up and got yelled at in his chat. Yeah, Mitch can be a little cantankerous. I remember watching his live stream the one day, and he was only on there for about like 5-6 minutes, and he ended the live stream because he didn't like what somebody was saying in the chats or the way the chat was going. That's crazy. Bryce visit sounds smart. Mental component and understanding personally, it affect many, if not all, you believe. And just be less fat. One key for recent progress has been understanding how you respond to obligations. The book 4 Tendencies has been helpful to figure out how to be motivated. 4 Tendencies, huh? I take a picture, but I'm using my phone. I have to remember this here. Smoking and drinking is simply social, acceptable, even celebrated. It is. And for a lot of people, they have a hard time saying no to them. I've had my issues with drinking. I've had my issues with tobacco products. They're not easy addictions to get over. So now, One of the other streams that I would highly recommend going to is Carnivore Quest. Um, Larry and well, Larry and Cassie they've been doing this diet for a while, and like a lot of us, they've had their struggles, but they're out there and they put themselves out there all the time just to help others. Uh, he usually does his meetings at 10:55 a.m. Central or 11:55 a.m. Eastern, which is still morning. And he calls them his morning meetings. So, dun, 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 dun. Where did I just go? Let's see. $4 out. My computer's really getting wonky again. Smoking, drinking acceptable. Yeah, you were one of them. That's what I wanted. All right. So the link I just put down here, this is for the Carnivore Quest live stream tonight with Larry. You can find his channel here. He's been very influential in my diet the last 6 months that I've been watching and participating with Larry and Cassie. They're great people. They also knew I needed to just get past Christmas before starting. Yeah. Trying to ignore all the goodies while beginning was never a good plan. I have to go shopping now, then get started. Well, I hope to see you in more of the live streams. I do mine on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. Carnivore Quest does theirs. Dr. Kiltz has one that's early in the morning. I'd recommend finding the live streams that help you out and participate in them. Talk with people like Bryce Biscuits and Jester and Jeff. We can all help out. My heart always goes out to Larry's family and Cassie more recently with her struggles. Absolutely, Bryce Biscuit. They put themselves out there for everybody, and it makes a big difference. Let's see. My daughter doesn't realize I was dieting and brought over a boatload of cookies. I ate one and didn't like it after not eating carbs. So I think it was easier than I thought. And that's one of the good things too, is how quickly your taste changes when you eliminate that stuff. Jester says, if anybody asked a question of me and I missed, please ask now because I've been finishing making breakfast. I just mentioned you in here as somebody that comes in and chats and for IH to talk with when we're in here. Yeah, it is nice, and community is essential when making life changes. And the carnivore community itself is overall a really great place to be. So much more helpful than other places. It's amazing. Holy cow, it's been an hour and 20 minutes almost. And time goes by when you're doing this stuff. It just goes by quick. I've got clocks here, and I have a timer that even shows up here that I just kind of ignore most of the time. But with that, I do have a lot of stuff I got to go do still. I got to go move some snow. Got to warm up a vehicle because when I parked it last night, it was just starting to snow, and it was warm. Now it's covered in ice. You're welcome, Bride's Biscuit. Peace, fam. Catch you in the streams. Absolutely. Everybody have a great day. Have a great night. And see you in a Carnivore Quest live stream here at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern.